Right.
Lovey,
My love.
tell me about your week.
It has been a good week. It has been a good week. I think the week started... It started a bit on... I think on the weekend I was feeling quite emotional because we were unpacking things and just realizing the humongousness of this move and getting here and everything. So it was quite overwhelming. Oh, these bugs are quite irritating, eh?
It is.
But as the week went on, I think we kind of got into the groove, and I started finding the things again that, like, just making do, learning to make do with things. And I think it's always been one of our strengths is tackling challenges in a way that is, problem solving in a sense. And so the skills of problem solving has been put to the test, and I found lots of enjoyment in problem solving and figuring out ways to make this work, and I think that brought joy for me.
So what are some of the problems that you faced that were causing you to be emotional, and then you later found ways to get through it?
One of the things was obviously realizing that I don't have some things like spices and so on, and then going to the market and finding things that can work with that.
Like a what?
Like curry powder and pepper. I hadn't bought a pepper grinder. And then we found my chili sauce and jam that I thought I'd left in Lusaka.
You thought you forgot, but you did.
I hadn't forgotten it. I had packed it in the guitar case, so it was in the little pouch of the guitar case. So that was a reward, a jackpot. So I was happy about that. And yeah, I think also, remember we went to the market and we went and just explored a little bit, and then there was we found a little butchery there and we tried some of their meat, and even though that was not the solution, but it just made me happy to know that, like, we could we could solve the problems.
We could possibly get by with what Chavuma has to offer. Yes,
we could, even when, like, we're not going to starve, we're not going to struggle. And then I went to the market and I was sad about not having all the vegetables and things like that. And we went to the market and we found some potatoes, which
you forgot to buy.
Yes, and which is not common in this area. They don't normally have potatoes, so it was nice to find potato there and little cabbages. It was small though, but it was cabbage nonetheless, and I love cabbage. I can do so much with it.
We also found some aubergine.
Aubergine, yes. And yesterday I found little green peppers. They were just tiny, but green peppers do make a difference when it comes to
they do. Man, it was
the flavour.
What you did with that salad with the cabbage and
the green pepper.
The green pepper with onion and tomato. That salad is very nice.
Exactly. Thank you.
You've done very well, Marco.
So those things brought joy, and realizing that we could make do with a lot of things which we. So it's not the end of the world.
It's a waspy. Waspy, go away, please. Go.
It's gone already.
Yeah, waspy. I do not like a waspy. Hey, she's making a nest there now. The black waspy. Those things can bite terrible, eh?
And there's even a dragonfly there at the back.
No problem. Dragonfly is not biting. It's just called a dragonfly. Okay. So that's good.
Yeah, and I think I started finding joy in doing the things like, making a home and providing what you need. And we've always been a very good team when it comes to mission work and sort of roughing it out. And there was a lot of enjoyment for me found in fulfilling those roles. And we fit very well into our roles. So I found joy in that, and seeing things starting to be solved, or some problems we were starting to solve, and we were starting to see things, and it just made me happy.
Okay.
How was your week?
Yeah, my week was very interesting. Look, we arrived here on Wednesday last week, and so Thursday, Friday, the week prior to this week, was really used to try and unpack our things into places. And that was a little bit unsettling because, the house wasn't yet prepared as I thought it would be. John's obviously been busy with other things and hasn't got time yet to do the things he said he would. In terms of putting up a ceiling in that place, putting in the sliding door in the front to keep the bugs out, and of course the ceiling in our room as well. So,
and the light fittings.
And the light fittings, which I had installed last time I was here in June, July. He had undone my work because he needed to harvest those fittings for another project he was working on. So, it was a little bit disconcerting that the place wasn't set up like I thought it would have been. But I must also say that I'm grateful for what is there.
Yeah.
Look, John and Leslie have been here for a long time, and what has been set up, and it is functional. I mean, there is a house, there is a tin roof over our heads. It does keep the rain out. Well, mostly. There's some leaks. There is mosquito netting on the windows. It keeps most of the bugs out. There are some gaps which need filling up, and we've been filling it up. So setting up home and making home actually home for you has been quite a challenge for me. In this last week. Well, actually the prior week, but then we had the weekend and we chilled a bit last week, Saturday a little bit. Well, it wasn't really chilling because we were still setting things out.
You watched some Formula 1?
Formula 1 was last week. Also got my mind off it. Still Formula 1 this weekend as well, so we'll get back to that later. So setting up home was first priority. But at the same time, the work carried on in terms of the ministry. And one of the things that I needed to work on immediately was to get a replacement for Joseph. Because Joseph, who was like one of the key guys on the mission base, trained here, local guy, has been with the work for a long time. He's a trained teacher, but he just got new work at a different NGO, and he left the day we arrived. So the mission base was left without this crucial person. So I had to get going to interview somebody for a replacement, and I made an arrangement to interview this person on Tuesday. Kahalo is her name. At the same time, working together with Kahalo's brother-in-law, Kennedy, who is working on the translation here across the river on the West Bank at Lukolwe. He's been translating the pastor training material for us. So I was working together with him to see how far he's gone on that translation process, because we need to get that to print, and of course to get in touch with his sister-in-law Kahalo so we can get an appointment to have this interview. So that was, got my pace going very quickly this weekend. This week, I had to prepare for that interview, which was on Tuesday morning, but I used Monday to prepare for that, just to get the admin done, to actually figure out what I need to ask her, what skills does this woman need to have in order to fulfill this position, because I don't even know that. I don't know what Joseph used to do, so I had to figure it out, see the translation work, see what he does in the office, Joseph filled some big shoes, and Kahalo needs to also, she's got a big responsibility to fulfill, and we just needed to know if she'll be able to do that. So that was Monday. Tuesday we had the interview, and then all the while I have in the back of my mind, or actually a very forefront of my mind, the fact that Ichnu is coming to visit. Where did we meet Ichnu?
In Lusaka. So Ichnu and Astrid, with their two boys, was a wonderful God-fearing couple that we met in Lusaka, and they've really been of great value to us as a family as well, and just having them to talk to, and it's ignited a very special friendship.
Ignited.
Yeah, ignited.
Ichnu and Astrid ignited a very special friendship with us. Yeah, they're very special people, and we met them in Lusaka, and they're keen to come and visit us here in Chavuma.
Yeah, 3rd to the 6th of April.
So, and they're coming to camp, and we do have the campsite at the mission base, but the ablution block isn't ready.
Yeah.
There's no plumbing in the ablution block pretty much at all. It all needs to get done. So there's a lot that needs to be done in that ablution block. So I've had the guys, Rainford and Henry, who work in the garden here. I've had them at time to clear that up as well. At the same time, I've had Henry and Rainford clearing up the lodge, because the lodge is also in a terrible state of disrepair and dirtiness, with critters and what do you call this stuff? Leaves and spider webs and everything all over the place. So we had to get that all cleared up as well. So that was what we did for the week, was getting the ablutions ready. I also had to get the solar system working.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the solar system and how it was and was not working?
So when we got here, one of the problems that we found, and we were told that during this time of year, when the weather is overcast in this the status or the
Sorry, I'm confusing with the cameras here. Yeah, go ahead.
So during this time of year, when it's overcast and the sun is not shining all day long, they were having problems. What's wrong?
It wasn't recording. Okay, carry on. Yeah, during this time of year.
This time of year, there's a wasp. They won't hurt you. Just leave them. During this time of year, when the sun is the weather is very overcast and the sun is not shining constantly, they have a problem with the solar panels not charging the batteries properly. So the batteries are only charging by the time the end of the evening comes, and not fully charged. So to keep running our fridges and lights and things like that through the night, the batteries take strain. So during the day, we can't use all the appliances like the washing machine or the electrical appliances like the fridges and so on, even then, because the solar power has to be used to charge the batteries. So when you got here, you obviously investigated and realized that not all the solar panels were actually contributing to the batteries, and only half of them were actually being used to charge the batteries. So you, with the help of Monty van
Rooyen, yes, yeah, he's actually the guy who John got the system from. Lovely believer, loves the Lord as well. It's great chatting with him.
And telephonically, you were able to discuss what needs to happen and problem solve until you were able to change a little bit of the wiring, and now all the solar panels that are on the roof are contributing to the batteries. So a great cause for celebration this week was having the batteries fully charged by the time the sun went down, even on a day where there was a lot of solar overcast weather.
It was raining from like 12 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah, so that allowed us to see the batteries fully charged, and then we had a full load on it last night, and this morning we woke up with the battery still on, I would say, 0.75%. So it was wonderful. It was great cause for celebration, and a success, one big success for this week. So
well, it was important for me to fix up the solar charging system, because I needed to use some of the power tools. I needed the electricity to run the power tools, because I'm trying to make doors for the ablution blocks. The ablution blocks don't have doors. But I can't use the electricity if there's not enough electricity to use from the solar system. And also the plug point that I needed to plug those tools in outside also wasn't working. So I needed to fix that. There was an earth leakage problem where when I connected that line to the DB board, it would trip the earth leakage. So I had to investigate the situation and actually figure out what is going on. There comes this wasp again. To figure out what is going on with this electrical system. And so that took me another whole day to figure out that electrical problem. That was after we fixed the solar system. I then had to go and fix the plug system. Go away from me, wasp. Get behind me. Anyway, and fortunately I also was able to phone my brother, who helped me also think through that earth leakage issue on that plug. And finally we got that electrical plug point working. So on Friday, finally I was able to plug in the power tools and start work on the doors. Now, I made good progress on the doors in the morning. By midday it started raining on Friday. But at the same time it started raining, one of the guys, Rainford is his name, it's got nothing to do with rain. Rainford came.
Oh, these flies are
flies, there,
around
yeah.
you.
This is Africa, guys. Anyway, so Rainford came. I had tasked Rainford to work in the ablution block. I told him to please. Now, there's a problem in the ablution block, and that is that the rafters are there. They're so old. They're just cut from trees as well. There's rosewood trees, strong trees, but the ants have gotten into the wood there, and their little sand tracks which they make in the wood is all over. And I said to Rainford, please clear off all the sand from those rafters. You know, they go up into the roof like there's sand all over. Get it all off. Brush off the ants as much as you can, and then get some old engine oil, which we had, a whole drum of that. And I said to him, Rainford, please, when you're done taking the sand off there, here's a paintbrush, there's the oil, paint the oil onto the rafters. Anyway, so by midday, when the rain started, Rainford comes to me and he says, Bwana, I've completed the work you have given to me. Come and inspect it, eh? Very proudly, he announced it. He also says to me, unfortunately, the oil is finished. So I said, okay, we'll have to find more, but let me see what you've done. We took a walk to the ablution blocks, but when I arrived, I was disappointed with great disappointment. Man, because, yes, he did put some oil on some of the rafters, but he put oil also everywhere else. He put oil on the floor. He put oil on the walls. These beautiful stone walls is dripping and splotched with this black engine oil. I'm like, oh, come on, Rainford, what on earth were you thinking? He responded to me, did you not expect this will happen? I said to him, no, Rainford, I did not expect this will happen. Anyway, so that was a great frustration. Half of my Friday yesterday was spent in great frustration and effort to try and clean off the oil from the walls. I obviously kept Rainford on. They normally work half days. They knock off at 12:30 on every day. But this day, Rainford volunteered to stay on to try and fix his problems he has made. But no matter what we tried, we couldn't get the oil off. We got a lot of it off, but he'll have his hands full on Monday to continue getting that oil off the walls. Hopefully, it'll at least look semi-presentable.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I also spent some of the time yesterday putting in some of the plumbing that I needed for that toilet, that ablutions. So I've set in now the water line. I just need to install the toilets and the showers, and then still create a hot water heating system, which I don't yet have. But that's next week's problem. Tomorrow, Sunday, I might be going with Pastor Davey across the river to one of the villages to join for a church service there.
Nice. That will be exciting.
Yeah. So, Lovey, what was your highlight of this week? What is your highlight?
I think this is my highlight. I must be honest.
Sitting
being
here
out
having
here,
breakfast out here, I will
we
agree that is
had
a highlight. Yeah.
a wonderful breakfast. So I think that is my highlight. With regards to just general life, not this kind of life, you know. My highlight was finding the vegetables at the market that, you know, just some vegetable things at the market. Yeah, and I've really we've been enjoying the nature. We're learning about all the creatures that live here.
Yeah, they keep flying around my head, these creatures.
Yeah, but that and the spiders and the
spiders,
snakes.
yeah, that is also cool. But that we've been on that Zambian snakes and other creepy crawlies. Yeah, that Facebook page.
Yeah, and we learn. It's
Very
actually very
helpful,
educational. Yeah. We found a snake that's apparently first time being recorded. So on the
VMUS is what it is called. Apparently, it is the database that is used in Africa, I suppose.
Yeah, so
to capture these critters and creepy crawlies. First time ever documented is we took the picture.
Yeah, and we put it on there, and then the experts replied and were very impressed and said it's the first time documented, and they could identify which one it was, but it hadn't been documented here yet. So that was amazing. So we've been enjoying that, and I've obviously been enjoying the birds. And of
course, you almost stood on a snake this week as well.
Yes.
What is that thing called? Look, the expert said it's a rhombic night adder, patternless rhombic night adder. Yeah.
But there is something else which is also part of the rhombic night adders, but it's called something else, which is, I think, possibly what.
Yeah, but we don't know what it is. Anyway, we almost stood on the thing, but we didn't kill it. We don't kill such critters. If they're not in our house particularly, but I mean, we don't like killing creatures. So we just repositioned it into a different location, which would be more its environment and not ours. And off it went on its merry way.
Yep.
Good, so that was our week. I think that's important that we have this discussion. And next week, Saturday, I think will be a nice opportunity for us to do this again. It's been nice sitting on the boat here this morning, having breakfast with the gas bottle stove. We had bacon and eggs, and oh man, beautiful.
In Cape Town, that was our tradition. Was we don't normally eat breakfast, but on Saturdays we have bacon and egg breakfast.
And we're trying to continue that tradition here. Huh?
Yeah, it's the one thing to kind of mark the weekend and to reward a person after a difficult and long week.
So. Yeah, it has, and it really has refreshed my spirit just sitting out here. Having a lovely breakfast with a beautiful woman in a beautiful location. But yeah, thank you guys all for your support, for your love and your prayers. Thank you for listening to us rambling on like this and about our week. But we thought you might also want an update, and that this might be an appropriate way to convey how things are going here. We'll try and keep this up. Let's see how it goes. Love you guys. Thanks for your support.
Bye.
Bye.